Have you ever wondered what happens when immense wealth tears a family apart? Today, we're diving deep into a story that has it all. A vast fortune, a complex family tree, and a legal battle that pits sibling against sibling, parent against child. This isn't just a tale of money. It's a saga of love, betrayal, and the question of what truly constitutes a legacy. Our story begins with the patriarch, a self-made billionaire who built an empire from scratch. He was a titan of industry, known for his sharp business acumen and his larger-than-life personality. He had 4 children from 2 different marriages, creating a blended family that on the surface seemed to coexist peacefully. But beneath the polished facade of family gatherings and holiday photos, tensions were simmering. The patriarch's health began to decline in his later years, and the question on everyone's mind was, who would inherit the keys to the kingdom? The will, when it was finally read, was a bombshell. Instead of an even split, the patriarch left the bulk of his fortune and control of the family business to just one child, the youngest son from his second marriage. The other 3 children, 2 from his first marriage and 1 from his second, were left with what they considered to be a pittance in comparison. The shock quickly turned to anger, and the lines were drawn. The 3 disinherited siblings decided to band together and challenge the will in court. Their legal argument was twofold. First, they claimed their father was not of sound mind when he signed the final version of his will. They pointed to his failing health and alleged that he was easily confused and susceptible to influence in his final months. They painted a picture of a vulnerable old man being manipulated. Their second claim was even more explosive: undue influence. They accused their younger half-brother and his mother, the patriarch's second wife, of systematically isolating the patriarch from the rest of the family and poisoning his mind against his other children. This accusation of undue influence is where the story gets really messy. The court proceedings unearthed years of family drama. The older siblings testified about being slowly pushed out of their father's life. Phone calls went unanswered, visits were cut short, and they claimed their stepmother acted as a gatekeeper, controlling all access to their ailing father. They produced emails and text messages that seemed to show a coordinated effort to portray them in a negative light. They argued that their brother had spent years currying favor, positioning himself as the only loyal and competent heir while smearing their names. In his defense, the youngest son and his mother presented a completely different narrative. They argued that the patriarch was sharp and decisive until the very end. Their lawyers presented testimony from doctors and business associates who confirmed the patriarch's mental clarity. They claimed the patriarch had grown disillusioned with his other children long before his health declined. They brought up past business failures, messy personal lives, and a perceived lack of respect for the family empire as reasons for their disinheritance. According to them, the patriarch simply chose the child he felt was most capable and deserving of carrying on his legacy. The will wasn't a product of manipulation. It was a cold, hard business decision. The trial became a public spectacle. Private family matters were laid bare for the world to see. Each side accused the other of greed, deceit, and a lack of love. Friendships were broken as family friends and business partners were forced to take sides and testify. The media had a field day, dubbing it the billion-dollar family feud. What was once a private family tragedy was now front-page news. The emotional toll on everyone involved was immense. Regardless of the outcome, the family was irrevocably shattered. So, who was telling the truth? Was the patriarch a victim of a dastardly plot, or was he a clear-eyed strategist making a tough choice? The court had to sift through mountains of evidence and conflicting testimonies. The concept of undue influence is notoriously difficult to prove. It requires showing that the influence was so great that it overpowered the free will of the person making the will, essentially substituting someone else's desires for their own. It's not enough to show that someone was persuaded or that there was an opportunity for influence. The court needed to see clear evidence of coercion or manipulation that directly led to the creation of the will. The older siblings presented a compelling case. They had witnesses who described the youngest son's constant presence by his father's side, often speaking for him in meetings and conversations. They pointed to changes in the patriarch's long-standing estate plans that happened shortly after the youngest son took a more active role in his father's care. Their lawyers argued this was a classic pattern of isolation and control, designed to secure the inheritance. They portrayed their younger brother as a master manipulator who preyed on a weakened man. On the other hand, the defense team was just as formidable. They presented the patriarch's own journals and voice memos from his final years. In these recordings, he expressed disappointment with his older children's life choices and praised his youngest son's dedication to the business. These personal records were powerful because they came directly from the patriarch himself. The defense argued that the older siblings were simply unwilling to accept their father's final judgment of them. They were, in the defense's view, entitled children who believed the fortune was their birthright, regardless of their actions or their father's wishes. After months of grueling testimony and legal wrangling, the judge delivered the verdict. The court found in favor of the youngest son. The judge ruled that while there was evidence of family conflict, and that the youngest son had certainly positioned himself advantageously, the plaintiffs had not met the high legal standard required to prove undue influence or lack of capacity. The judge noted the patriarch's own recorded words as crucial evidence, showing that he had made a conscious and deliberate choice. However harsh it may have seemed to his other children, the will was upheld. The youngest son inherited the empire. The other siblings were left with their smaller inheritances and a mountain of legal bills. But the financial loss was perhaps secondary to the emotional devastation. They had not only lost a fortune, they had lost the final battle for their father's validation. The family name, once a symbol of success and power, was now synonymous with public squabbling and broken relationships. The brothers and sisters, who once shared childhood memories, were now strangers, their connection severed by bitterness and suspicion. This story serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It highlights how wealth can complicate even the most fundamental human relationships. It forces us to ask difficult questions. What do we owe our children, and what do they owe us? Is a legacy about money, or is it about the values and relationships we leave behind? In this case, the patriarch succeeded in passing on his business, but one could argue he failed in passing on a united family. The legal battle may be over, but the wounds will likely never heal. It's a tragic reminder that some of the most valuable things in life could be listed in a will or fought for in a courtroom. What do you think? Was the patriarch right to choose one heir, or should family always come before business? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. This case is a fascinating look into the dark side of wealth and family dynamics. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story as compelling as I did, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into incredible real-life dramas. See you in the next one.